Howdy and hello, I am Seattle's one and only Glamazon Goddess and Queen of the Pigs, IsabellaExtynn, and welcome to The Race is On. Today we're reviewing episode 2 of season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm so excited from a special guest. She hails from San Antonio, Texas. She's been in Seattle for about 2 years now. Please welcome the blue bombshell of burlesque, Lucy Lips.
Hi, hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. Welcome to my new and improved film studio.
Oh, it's stunning here. The view, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The marble statue right here, absolutely incredible.
You know, I spare no expense.
I love what you've done with the place.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I'm so excited to have you here today. We're going to be talking about the episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, and we've got a lot to talk about today.
Oh, bitch, there's some points of topic definitely for this particular episode.
Yes, ma'am. So I think we're going to jump right in. And before we even get to the episode, we got to talk about all the tea that happened before the episode even aired.
Yeah, this season is looking up to be a very controversial season with a lot of issues.
We are episode 2, and the controversies have stacked up.
I know.
So, first tea that came out about the episode was Aiden Zane and Dahlia Sin. Some of their old tweets and Facebook posts resurfaced with some transphobic bullshit in it.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
No, it's completely unacceptable at this point. You would think that, like, through the screening process, that when they do ask for, like, social media and everything, that they would go through some of those old things, those old comments, and part of me wonders, like, okay, did they turn a blind eye to it because it's in line with RuPaul's own ideologies, or maybe they just don't care, or maybe they didn't dig that far enough. But to me, it's unacceptable. At this point, like, trans queens have been a part of our journey here in drag since the beginning. Yeah, forever.
Yeah. Since the beginning. They helped pioneer this art form.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely ridiculous that Drag Race doesn't cast trans queens, for one, as well as AFAB queens and kings.
Yeah.
Because we're all working the same jobs together. We're all working the same clubs, the same bars, and we're all putting on the same show.
Yeah.
So give everybody the opportunity.
Yeah, and at this point, like, there's been so much feedback to RuPaul's Drag Race for so long about this exact issue that I thought this season would be the season that they would finally cast someone like Aurora Sexton.
If you ever think you're going to audition for Drag Race, maybe you should check your bold tendencies.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Like, I know I could never get on the show because the second I got on that show, everyone across Reddit would know about my anal fissure.
I've already decided that if I ever get on the show, I'm going to be the one to leak my Pornhub.
Oh,
you know?
Please do.
Because why not?
Give the gays what they want.
Yeah, the next situation was Britta, who was accused of some sexual misconduct. She has completely denied everything.
This is like a case where it's kind of like, you know, we need to believe the victims, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, like, where is that, like, middle ground?
Signals could have been misread, and alcohol was involved, and she could have thought that she had consent if this did happen. And then in the story, as soon as he said, "No, I don't want this," she stopped.
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, let's just go to sleep."
Yeah, consent can be revoked at any time.
Absolutely. And as long as someone stops when consent is revoked.
Yeah, or doesn't begin if they weren't given consent in the first place. Yeah. And I think that's where there's a bit of gray area in that story where we really don't know. You know, we weren't there. We're basing lots of, like, one account of the story, right? Yeah. And of course, like, the two people involved have differing accounts of what happened. Yeah. But at the same time, this was something that was, like, known for a really long time and had made its way around Reddit, you know, like a couple years ago when it came out. So this is a case where production likely knew about the situation and they chose to turn a blind eye to it.
So now, let's get to the big one. Before she's even aired on national television, a gal is disqualified.
More than just disqualified.
Oh, I'll tell you what, her career is done.
Yeah, she got canceled faster than AJ and the Queen. Yeah.
Canceled!
I have a lot of feelings about this.
Yeah, because you know her.
Yeah, so literally the night before the allegations dropped, I was texting that bitch.
Oh, God.
I met her originally at DragCon LA years ago. I think it was like the second DragCon that ever happened. And I went there with my wig designer, Bobby Pins, and she was also there with Bobby Pins, and we were, modeling his wigs for the weekend. And I had a grand old time, not just with her, but with like Ritzy Bits, with Pissy Miles, with Bang. I met all of these incredible like New York City queens, and Sherry in particular I really resonated with her. I thought that she was one of the funniest queens I'd ever met. I thought that her style of camp drag was far above and beyond what I had been seeing at the scene at the time. In 24 hours, go from I'm like rooting for this queen to realizing, wow, I really didn't know this person. But I was shocked. I was completely taken back. It took me a few days to sort of like process that and reconcile this newfound information about someone that I thought I knew with the image of the person that I thought I knew. Now watching the season, I really can't separate the art from the artist at this point, and I feel that, especially watching this episode with her, you can almost see how maybe this side of her, this really dark side of her, informed. It informed her drag, and so I can't praise her drag anymore. I can't be associated with that. It's been very difficult trying to, again, like, reconcile those two, like, images of her and put them together, and I feel dirty.
If you're not caught up on what we're talking about, an allegation came out against Sherry Pie that she had basically created a persona named Allison Mossy that worked for Playwrights Horizons in New York, which is a very prestigious casting company, and she was catfishing actors and getting them to send her sexually explicit auditions, photos and videos, for years at a time, up to the point that she got some of them hooked onto steroids, really just like manipulation tactics. It's really gross, really like terrible catfishing.
It's so much more than catfishing. I saw Marty Gold Cummings like post a really great comment on the thread where basically we were all ripping Sherry a new one in her half-assed, half-baked apology.
Oh God. And
Marty pointed out, like, you committed multiple crimes. You impersonated a representative of business. The consent under which these people sent you these videos was under false pretenses.
This whole lie goes really, really deep because she went so far as to write an entire fake script.
Yeah.
There's a script for a play that she wrote that these people were auditioning for.
Yeah.
She tried to blame mental health, which I thought was a very big slap in the face to a lot of people, because there are a lot of people within our community that deal with mental health issues regularly, and they don't go and manipulate people like this.
There are so many people with mental health issues who do live happy, healthy, successful lives and have happy, healthy, successful relationships with other people. And so to associate mental health with the despicable things that she did and using it as almost as an excuse.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
That's what was so inappropriate to me. Is that
having a mental health issue does not excuse you from responsibility of your actions.
I hope that her victims seek justice and that they get the help that they need. And really, I think also, like, these next 3 months for drag queens at a local level are going to be tough, right?
Yep.
Some queens are going to have to host viewing parties for 3 months and being reminded of this every single Friday.
I said earlier, the Advocate article that came out was calling for them to cancel the entire season. And I was like, this is not fair to all these queens that didn't do anything wrong and had no connection to this situation at all. To take their dream away from them?
Every single year, the new batch of queens goes on the show, and whether we as local queens like it or not, they end up basically representing and setting the tone for the trends in drag that year, for what's popular. Like, are we all going to be sexual predators this year? Is that what's new?
No, we are not taking this as a trend. This is not the trend alert.
It's going to be an awkward 3 months watching this season.
It's going to be tough to watch.
But I just really hope that we can get some queens on there in the future who really can represent local queens in a much better way.
All of my sex videos are fully consensual, so
that's amazing.
Yeah. And so, moving on with this series, in each episode, we're going to talk about Sherry as limited as we possibly can in reference to the episodes.
What happened?
We've talked about the drama, but now let's talk about the episode, because this was a fun episode. I don't quite think it was as strong as the first set of girls.
Well, you said it, not me.
But let's start off right at their entrance looks. Who were you feeling for your entrance look, and who was your least favorite entrance look?
This was a tough one for me because I was not impressed by really any of them. I thought the most detailed one and noteworthy one was Dahlia's. I did like the distressing on the jeans, but they showed a shot of her where she turned around. You saw the back of that
and
corset.
It was laced this wide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like a very cheap corset that someone, threw some distressed jean on top of and then embellished. That is a way that a lot of us drag queens like to create looks.
Absolutely. I do that
garment.
often.
Yeah. But for Drag Race, come on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go on record and saying this. I am not here for the wet look hair on a drag queen anymore. It's
never been.
Jada Essence Hall wore my color, and
she looked stunning.
It was very simple, but it was clean and streamlined, so I appreciated it.
It was like a crowning gown at a pageant.
It was very that.
Yeah. Her shoulders too, to have her shoulders out like that, and she had all that highlight on her shoulders. I was like, oh, girl knows how to use a highlighter palette.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what.
That was also one of those moments though where I feel like as Drag Race continues, there's queens who become known for certain body parts. Magnolia with the nose, Naomi with the legs, now Jada with the shoulders. I'm kind of questioning, okay, how much further are we going to get before a queen's just like, you know what, bitch, look at this earlobe.
They're just going to know my whole.
My
least favorite walking into the room was Aiden.
Oh, yeah.
It was too simple. It was like some shiny black leggings that she got at Claire's. And a decently cute little vintage jacket, and then like a neck harness thing, and that same wig that she wore in her promo. We're gonna get to that.
That's the second time we've seen that wig. It was also my least favorite look. I obviously have a very specific relationship with color, and to me that jacket, that candy apple red with that McDonald's yellow together. It just looks so cheap to me. Yeah. I think of the looks on Drag Race as almost like you're presenting a really elongated runway show.
Absolutely.
And you want that entrance look to be something that is symbolic of your drag, that represents you, that tells its story so that from the first second that people see you on that screen, they know what you're about. And I don't know what she's about from that first look.
No. Rock's look wasn't fantastic. It was fine. It was, a drag queen. But Rock's actual entrance was hilarious.
Oh yeah, best entrance of the season so far.
Well, and I loved on Twitter, she posted the video of her entrance, and her caption for it was, I just wanted a subtle entrance. Okay, so let's talk about Spring Runway.
Oh gosh.
I didn't love it, honestly.
Yeah. I would say there is one look that really stood out for me, though, as something that I would rip off of that queen and wear it myself, and that was Dahlia's look.
Actually, that was my favorite look of the Spring Runway, was Dahlia's. And that's the thing, she's a fashion queen.
It cupped her right at the edge of the shoulder in the right way. I think it's actually made by Bicala.
Yeah, it was.
So this is, again, one of those designers that's been seen many times on the show. And this was a more sophisticated look for what I've seen from Bicala.
And who's your least favorite?
I would have to say Aiden again.
And also, can we mention, she was wearing the same wig.
The same wig.
So this is now look 3 that we've seen this same wig before.
Yeah.
There's more.
I'm over the same wig thing. To me, the look reminded me of Pikmin, if you're familiar with that video game. So I thought it was the concept it was 65% there for me. I'm not going to give her more than that because the execution was so boots no.
That's spring looks. Now let's talk about fall looks.
Okay. I liked Dahlia's look.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very practical look that you would see a queen wearing for her performance. But it was stunning. And that was very indicative of her style of drag, of being kind of, it sucks to say, but being a little bit of a look queen.
Yeah.
Wearing something that's maybe impractical, but beautiful. Yeah. So I enjoyed it for that reason.
Yeah, Jada's lavender look was I actually think that was probably my favorite look from the fall runway. I felt like lavender was a little bit of a weird color for fall, but it was like an icy enough lavender that was more like wintry.
Yeah, I think with like the fur shoulder, it was a very well executed look to me.
It was a little safe compared to last week's.
A little safe, maybe a touch pedestrian. Yeah. I know we've used that word before, but it wasn't quite giving me the full fantasy that I wanted. Yeah, but it was still very beautiful and very well done.
Least favorite for fall was definitely Aiden.
Aiden Zane. Aiden just so far has gotten boot looks for me the entire...
I mean, I liked the tall socks. I would totally wear those for something. But also to do a panty with a shawl and tall socks for a fall runway look, Fashion Week runway is what they were told. That was not fashion, boo.
Yeah, I had several issues with it. One, same wig.
Same wig!
Same wig!
Same wig!
I'm not...
This is fourth look in the same wig. Promo, entrance, spring, fall, same wig!
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the performance. They had to write and record a verse to the song You Don't Know Me, and then learn choreography and perform it in front of the judges. That's a lot.
I mean, Jan really knows who she is.
Absolutely.
And as we saw in the performance challenge, I think she should have been top 2 from the performance.
I agree. It should have been her and Jada in the top 2.
I agree, yeah. She really showcased her singing ability in it well.
Absolutely.
She created a melody out of that song that some of the other ones just like talked through.
Well, I mean, that's the easiest way to go with that song, because that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
To write that cell block tango-esque monologue in there and add musicality to it.
She was very like that student in high school that's like always did the extra credit even though she already had like A's and everything.
Oh yeah.
Like always had to be an honor student. Like, and bitch, I was at Queen too, but like, honey, RuPaul is not giving out grades, for effort.
This week it should have been Jan and Jada, but I don't know which one would have taken the lip sync. I think they would have been really evenly matched.
That being said, I think they would have given it to Jada either way.
Alright. Well, I mean, I hope they propel Jada to the end of the season. I love her.
Me too. She's stunning.
She is absolutely gorgeous, and out of drag, she makes me feel so many things.
Ooh. Does she tickle the pickle?
I'll tell you, I hope so.
I wasn't compelled by Aiden. I agreed with her critiques in that it was like a very storytelling type thing, but I think she missed
cute.
Yeah, she was cute, but I think it missed the spirit of Broadway and of Cell Block Tango. Yeah. It was fine, and fine is not good enough for me.
It was adequate.
And that's not enough for me.
Nope.
I don't settle.
Good. Shouldn't have to. Dahlia was the worst.
Oh, Dahlia's was... Honey.
There we go.
Honey. Dahlia in the performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Jackie Cox was going to get called out on her beard last week, why did we not call out Dahlia for basically having no mug on for the performance? She seemed like someone who's inexperienced with performing, who doesn't quite have a full grasp of her performance style, or what she really stands for in drag, other than just looking damn good. In this case, she didn't look that great either, so you don't get a pass for me on that. It was
you didn't put your signature on it because your signature is that you look really good in drag.
Yeah.
Least favorite was definitely Dahlia. Favorite in the performance. My favorite in the performance was Jada. Jan was a very close second to me because I think Jan did phenomenal. And I was watching the entire performance with Jan. I just feel like Jada drew me into her more. Whereas Jan was like, this is my resume!
I liked that, though. I mean, the challenge was to, talk about who you are. For me, Jan should have been in the top 2, and we talked about that earlier.
Okay, so we are to the runway now. And who was your favorite and your least favorite for the runway? The runway theme was Tool.
So for the Tool runway, I was not impressed. I'm just going to be honest about that. I thought for the most part, a lot of the queens picked similar silhouettes, similar inspirations. Tool is a very easy thing to just gather and turn into volume. And so many of the queens did that. Jan was the one who... She went like the Tool belt, like play on words. Again, that type of like, okay, great, you get points and extra credit for being creative at least, but if you look at it from an objective perspective, I was not impressed by Jan's look. It was poorly fit. The pants didn't look very good. Yes, it was like tongue-in-cheek, and it was at least serviceable for that aspect, but the rest of them, I wasn't impressed by any of them. Out of all of them, if I was going to pick one that I would wear, it would have been Jada's.
I did have somebody tell me that they were so surprised by the reveal on it, and I was like,
God.
I saw that coming a mile away.
It was so obvious. One of the most disappointing ones to me was Dahlia's, interestingly. It was, again, like a cheaper tool. It was very thin, and it was funny in that how so many of the other queens like leaned into the volume. Hers just kind of fell flat. Like, there wasn't enough tulle in it. And
there wasn't enough layers in hers to actually give it the impact that she wanted. And then also, the unevenness looked haphazard. Finally, Aiden wasn't the worst. And she finally wore a different wig.
Oh my god, she finally wore a new wig.
Finally.
Wow. That being said, it was a very obvious Marcel wave, and not like the proportions of it were a little off to me still, but at least it was something new. It kind of gave me similar vibes to like Dahlia's spring look with the neon green and then a contrasting color hair.
Yeah. We're not going to go super into depth in the lip sync because we're not talking about her. But we will talk about Jada in the lip sync. She performed beautifully.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Jada did well. I thought she won the lip sync fair and square.
Absolutely. In this episode, Rock opened up about their mom's addiction to meth and about how it was like a trigger and people relying on them and being disappointed by them was a trigger. And I find it interesting, and I'm looking forward to this next episode to see what happens when they find out that they're on a season with somebody named Crystal Method. And I really hope that they do have a conversation about it, because I think it's something that's very important for us to talk about within the queer community, because meth is such a problem within the queer community.
But now it is time for the gift, the gag, and the goop. So this is my little wrap up to the episode. The gift is your favorite moment from the episode. The gag is the most shocking moment from the episode, and the goop is the shadiest moment from the episode. So what was your gift from this episode?
My gift from this episode has to be Rockham in general, but I also think, I just love Rockham's humor. I love that she's just bringing fart jokes to the main
Kick
stage.
into a fart.
My gift from this episode was how hot Jada is. So, what was your gag from the episode?
I mean, it has to be...
The most shocking moment.
It has to be them right at the beginning of the episode just putting up that statement that Sherry Pie has been disqualified.
Yeah. I mean, my gag is from the whole week in general. That is the gag of the season, I think. It is so shocking and so heartbreaking. Okay. So, what was your goop from the episode? The shadiest part of the episode?
The shadiest part of the episode for me was Dahlia's beard in the performance challenge.
Oh, yeah, that was the wrong shade, girl.
That was several shades wrong. So, yeah. How about you?
My shadiest part was when Aiden was like, I am more of an actress, and Thou Who Shall Not Be Named was like, well, when you say you're an actress, do you have any acting training? And I was like, oh, call her out. Call her out.
Well, we have discussed a lot about this episode. A lot happened this week, the week leading up to the episode and on the episode. I am so happy that my special guest was able to join me, Lucy Lips. You can find her at Queer Bar for her show Queer Burlesque. Tell us a little bit about Queer Burlesque.
So, Queer Burlesque, normally we are the first Saturday of every month at Queer Bar. We'll be back in April with the Dark Diamonds Burlesque Troupe, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you for being here. I've got some other shows coming up on the channel, and I'm definitely going to have you back for some other shows.
Oh, I'd love to.
We're going to have some more fun here. But I really appreciate you coming and hanging out with me and talking some tea about RuPaul's Drag Race.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for joining us and talking about this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. Next week, I'm going to have the ravishing Ruby Boucher joining me to discuss episode 3 of season 12. So come on back, hit that red subscribe button, and go ahead and ding that bell so you get notifications on everything happening on this channel. Like, comment, and share. this video and come on back next week. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.